he was talking about being immature and being wise. You can be immature and being intelligent, but you can't be wise because when you're wise, you apply the information, the knowledge you have to whatever the situation. My situation was I was applying what I thought was based on my experience that I'm an insurance agent. I know about liability. This can go left. That was my logic thinking. If I was immature, I would just be going with my emotions. I'd be like, I'm just gonna beat this dude up. I don't care about nothing. I don't care about the consequences. I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like doing because I feel like this guy disrespected me. And I'm gonna do whatever I need to do, and whatever happens to him, whatever happens. That is immaturity, and that was my whole premise. Now go ahead and tell me what you're gonna tell me. It's your boy TTMT
and King D Money here with the D&D Leveling Up Podcast. Hey guys, we know the information that we are giving you guys is leveling up your lives in so many great ways. First things first though, we need you guys to
like, comment, subscribe, and share.
That is so essential, guys, and we'll catch you in the podcast.
Deuces.
Now, you said that was your premise?
Correct.
Now lay out your argument just in one sentence.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So my argument is this. If you are mature, right, you apply wisdom to situation and use your logic.
Okay.
And if you're immature, right, you can be intelligent. And so his premise is that you can be intelligent and still do it, still have the action, still commit a emotional action regardless and bypass your logic and then be able to me, that doesn't make sense because to me, if you bypass your logic, then you're not mature. My whole premise is that you can't make decisions that are logical, to me, logical, and they're immature and be immature. They have to be. If you make it a decision that's logical, you're out of the immaturity stage because a mature person is going to go follow their logic. They're not going to follow dictated by their emotional status. Because if you say, okay, well, they could be intelligent, they could understand all the dynamics and still do it, then you really don't understand the dynamics. Then that's immaturity.
Because maybe you just want that consequence.
But why would you want a consequence that is detrimental to yourself?
Because
that's not logical.
It emotionally satisfies you.
Correct. I understand. So if it emotionally satisfies you, you, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's immaturity because it's not logical. Because I'll give you an example. So if it's emotional,
I don't know.
When I
see my wife and I gotta kiss her, it is emotional.
That's what I was about. That was literally what I was
but I'll tell you.
I think it's a play on words.
It's a play on words. So you don't see this?
You're putting words in places where they could go like a little bit later.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
I think it's context. We talk about context, right?
Like it's context. It's like when you were explaining it, it's like where is it? Where's the word I'm looking for? Maturity.
Maturity, yeah.
There's like three main words for me right now in this debate.
Yeah.
Maturity, wisdom, and logic.
Yeah, and intelligence. Because he has intelligence.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay, so knowledge.
Knowledge, yeah. Correct.
So to me, this argument is just too many words right now. All right. To me, wisdom is applied knowledge.
Correct.
Now, what if you want to apply it for a certain effect?
Yeah.
Whether it's logical to them.
Yeah.
And you'll get the reward that you want.
Okay.
On the back end.
Yeah.
Let's say you did something, and you know it's not a great thing to do in context.
Okay.
In the moment. It's not a great thing to argue with your girlfriend outside.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But let's say you want
to
another female to see you breaking up with your girlfriend.
So that So that to me, that's a context of trying to elicit a certain type of emotional response based on what you're trying to accomplish.
Which is what word? Which one of those 4 words we were using?
It's
not just knowledge.
But is that maturity?
It requires you intelligence, and it does require maturity because you have experienced so much. You understand that argument is going to cause that person to give that reaction.
Well, that's a different story.
Which is knowledge in action.
Correct.
Which is wisdom.
Okay, yes, but this is what I want to explain. You're gonna have in order for you. So my whole argument was what we were talking about is maturity versus immaturity, right?
Mm.
Okay.
Making immature decisions. People who are mature, who have logic, don't make immature decisions. That was my whole premise. You don't make immature decisions. You don't make decisions, and you don't make decisions that are logical, that are detrimental to yourself. You know what I'm saying? So what his premise is, like, a person could know full knowledge of what they're getting into, emotionally know that they're going to go into it emotionally, know all the dynamics of it, and still go into it, and that they can still be mature. To me, they can't be mature because they're not making a logical decision because it's detrimental to themselves.
I mean, the action of doing that is insanity, right?
Correct.
You literally fit into it.
Correct.
Like insanity.
Yeah.
However, is every wise person you ever met in your life sane? Was Solomon sane when he wrote Ecclesiastes?
I don't know.
Right, when he's talking about everything is going to die one day, everything is vain, everything I did was worthless. Does that sound like a sane person to you? That sounds like depression.
It could be, and that could be in context at that time. That's what he wrote in that time for that context. Doesn't mean that every pictured moment that you have can be broad span in a prototype for everything you ever do. So that might be like a picture, like click. He was depressed at the time, but that's not the whole aspect of his life.
But the argument you were making is that if he was mature already, he wouldn't make immature decisions.
Correct. He would make logical decisions.
He would make logical decisions.
Correct.
So is it logical to sit up and say everything is going to die and everything is going to go away?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think it's logical to say that everything is going to die?
Everything is going to die. I mean, that is going to happen. It is logical.
But is it sane?
Is it sane? Now, have you said it yourself? If I say it right now, it is sane because it's something that's going to happen.
Well, we're discussing somebody else. But that's what I'm saying. He's speaking for himself.
True.
He's speaking for himself. And as Christians, at least me specifically, I believe him to be a wise person based on what he's written.
Right.
So, if he is a wise person, but he does not sound sane, is he mature? Of course he has to be mature. Right? He's mature, he's wise, he's intelligent, he's lived out throughout his whole life, but he's not sane, right? He's thinking that the world is coming to an end. He knows the world is coming to an end. And he's saying that everything that you do is worthless. Now imagine if somebody comes to you in person and says that everything you do is worthless, man, you're gonna die anyways, right? You get up in the morning, you go to sleep at night, what is the worth of your life?
Now, that doesn't sound sane to me. That doesn't sound logical. Now, he might have been the most intelligent man at the time, right? Based on the information that he knows. Now, we don't know him, so we can't really dictate how sane he is just based on an isolated incident or just words. Go ahead, D. You going to say something?
No.
So, to me, in my mindset, and then we're going to move on to you because we're going to get to some other things because it's getting deep on this topic. My mindset is this: that was a prototype or picture of something that for us to see in the future. That's why we're looking at somebody who's talked about something in the past. We have a different set of parameters and paradigms now than he had then. You know what I'm saying? So he was a king at the same time. We're not kings. We're not in a situation where we have all the things that he had to deal with in that point. We'll get back to it, but we want to get back to you, sir, because we're going to introduce yourself. You're going to tell us who you are, and you're going to tell us, of course, where you've been, your backstory, what you're trying to accomplish, and you're one of my good friends, Patrick, not Patrick Ben David, but Patrick Oliveira from Brazil. Let's go. Let's go.
Appreciate it. Well, obviously, my name is Patrick. I was actually born in Springfield, Mass. Okay. So my family they're all Brazilian. Now, obviously, my father and my mother, their parents come from different parts of the world. Right? My mom's side of the family, they're Italian. My dad's side of the family, they're African. So they then immigrated to Brazil, and then they decided to immigrate to the U.S. Now, my parents obviously came for a better life. Brazil, especially at the time, it still is, but at that time, sucked.
Pretty dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually less dangerous then than it is now. Now it's pretty bad, bro.
Really?
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Wow.
Brazil, at one point, I think it was about 8 years ago, we had 60,000 homicides in a year. which
Yeah.
is I think 3 times as much as America has with
Really?
a smaller population.
Wow.
Yeah, so we would definitely need a better justice system, right? Brazil's a very corrupt country, a lot of issues. Socialism does play a factor into it, but you know, that's pretty normal. Government corruption.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna want money to come directly to you at one point.
Right.
Yeah.
You cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
So, and once you have a very large welfare program like that, you know, everybody depends on the government. Nobody can really grow.
Yeah.
Right. That's one thing. Like if you're dependent on somebody, you're not gonna grow yourself.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like you ever see those vines that like kind of grow on a tree and they latch onto the tree, right? As much as the tree is like strong and it's sturdy there, that vine is just sucking the juice out of that tree.
Yeah.
And that tree will never grow any bigger.
Yeah.
Right. There's a specific word for that vine, but it's a parasitic vine.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not just in the country, but in life specifically across the board, there are people that are just parasitic to you.
Yeah.
They attach to you. But that's a different story. That ain't got nothing to do with what I.
We'll tell that story in part 2.
Yeah, we'll say that in part 2.
Yeah.
But yeah. So my parents came from Brazil in '98, August 11th of 1998. I was born August 11th of 1999. So exactly 1 year after, I was born in Springfield. I was born in Liberty Heights, Springfield, Bay State Hospital. Left, moved to Florida at the age of 14, and then I moved to Wellington, and then at 16 I moved to Boca, and then here we are.
We are now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Semi-professional soccer player.
Yeah,
so
I
you're very
played-
deep into like any person from Brazil or Argentina, bro. They're super
deep.
deep on like soccer. Like, bro, tell us about your whole soccer situation, bro.
All right, man. Like, here's the thing. I'm not really much of a baller. I just happen to be in like situations with ballers, thankfully. Right. So I did play for FC Florida. I played for an academy. I played for Schultz Academy. I played for Deportivo de Fair Play. I don't know if you know much about soccer, but Falcao Garcia, who was a really big player in Atletico Madrid and for Colombia, Monaco. He came out of that academy as well. So I've been around some pretty good ballers,
Right.
you know, thankfully, and came out of some good academies. I myself never dreamed, and like Dirk always gets on because of this, I never dreamed of becoming a professional soccer player. It just wasn't for me. I always wanted to become an attorney or a diplomat. I never wanted to become a pro soccer player. I never had the dedication my other friends had. I have friends in other countries, in Spain. I have friends that went to Portugal to go play. They're still playing there. They're on salary. I sometimes watch them on TV. It's a great experience for them. I just can't see myself doing that. I can't see myself waking up at 5 a.m, running, and then going back to work at 3, like, because they work a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Professional athlete.
Yeah.
You have to be at the highest level possible. Right. Everybody's trying to take your position. It's physically demanding. At the end of the day, you're a professional athlete,
Right.
and you have to be entertaining because at the end of the day, it's literally professional entertainment. Right.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of like acting, right? You see, I think it was Christian Bale that had to eat like an apple and drink coffee for like 70 or 80 days.
The
He-
machinist.
Exactly.
You remember he was looking all
Yeah,
gross
he
and
did
all
that.
skinny? Like terrible.
He committed to it, man.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
bro. Like he destroyed his health for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's safe to say he probably shaved a few years off his life expectancy for that, man.
Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So entertainment is kind of crazy what people will do for bread and circuses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what people will do for entertainment.
Yeah.
And that goes across the board, whether you're discussing adult entertainment, whether you're discussing professional athleticism, whether you're discussing acting, which is literally professional lying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Professional
faking.
lying.
Right, that and attorneys, but we get into
Yeah, we can get the attorney
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. But yeah, man, like it's kind of odd how we added like professional like professions for things that we actually see deplorable in society.
Ooh.
Wow.
Like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
though.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Because if I went out in the street and I acted like a completely different person, right, you would find me to be a deplorable person. Like if I just completely was fake to you,
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy, bro? My friend, I brought him on the podcast.
He's just
out here.
Level up.
We know some people like that, don't we?
He's leveling down.
He's leveling
Chilling,
down.
bro. And then he's completely fake in the street. But if I do that on camera, though, you'll pay me a few $1 million.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
true.
you might even get a couple of fans.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's crazy. Isn't that weird? Like we put it. It's, it's funny. Like we talked about this before. This other guy was saying like all the things that you like are bad for you. You know what I'm saying? Things you like to eat, they're bad for you. Like things that we put up that are like supposedly like great things, they're bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we see people like faking it, and then we wonder like who are actors and actresses why their marriages are not working together, because they're both sometimes just how do you know when they're acting? When your spouse is acting, they could be a great actor. They could just be acting the whole time.
And they're a professional liar.
You know what I'm saying? They're a professional liar. Like
that fooled millions of people at a time.
Exactly. So how do you know if like why the person who's supposed to be your wife or husband isn't like faking the whole time? They could be faking. They could just be putting on a character.
Oh man, I'll tell you a great example of that is Phone with Dick and Jane.
Bro, I love that movie. You ever see that movie?
They're like both secret agents, but they don't know that both of them are living like these secret agent lives.
Yeah.
So one night they come home and they're actually on a mission, and one of them goes across they get the same mission, but from different companies, and they run into it as she's shooting at him and he's shooting at her, and then they go home and they're like, something tips off like the
Smith.
husband.
Mr.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
The Angelina Jolie movie.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Okay. Phone with Dick and Jane is one of my favorite movies.
Hey, bro, let me tell you.
Hold on. You got me.
Bro, you know why?
Correction.
You know why I know that? Because I was like, bro, that's like one of my favorite movies because you remember it's like, that section where he goes, well, my father used to say, he never says anything after that. He says nothing after that. And it's like my favorite movie because they're digging up trying to get grass and their son's speaking Spanish because the nanny's Spanish.
Yeah, that's Phone with Dick and Jane, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I totally messed the titles up.
You never seen that movie?
Phone with Dick and Jane.
It's Jim Carrey.
It's Jim Carrey and
I can't remember the it's Tina Leone.
But it's like a play on the what was that company that went down?
It was on Enron. It's like
Enron. It was a play on Enron scandal. What people were doing when it happened.
Yeah.
So Jim Carrey's this high level executive. They boost him up. They did him like doing like the company dirt companies doing him. They put him in the new office. And then the owner's like, man, you're doing great here, man. He takes him to the what is it called? Like the 45th floor or something like that. It's like he meets with the guy. He's like, hey man, you're doing a great job. Then they go up to the helicopter pad and he's like, keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Go for it.
He sells on the shares.
And he sold like right before that he sold all the shares. But all the floors are like burning papers.
Exactly.
Like they're like everybody's cutting everything down and grinding all the paperwork. And it's so funny, bro.
And they lost their 401k.
They put him on the news the next day.
Yeah.
They put him on the news the next day to represent the company.
Yeah.
He
was like a male guy almost.
Exactly. Yeah, he's an ambush. He's ambushed, literally. Yeah, he's ambushed.
Hey, so they put him on that, right? They put him on the TV, and the shares. They do an animation of the shares going down like this.
And he's sweating at the same time. He's like, Dick, what's going on with your company? He's like, your CEO has sold all your shares, and your CFO is nowhere to be found. He said, can you explain that? He's like,
like, huh?
I don't know. Huh? You just became the CFO. What are you talking about?
The CFO right there and then.
Exactly. So.
Oh my God! So everything goes wrong. They're holding on all the bills. You know what I'm saying? They're like the grass that they just put in. The grass company comes to repo the grass. That's how far. It's a Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
So you know how far this has to go.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when he's in the bar.
Yeah.
And he's like, he gets on top of the table and he's in a bar with these rich guys.
Yeah,
and he's like, look at me. I'm a corporate puppet. And his wife comes into the bar. He's like, why did you give him so many drinks? He's like, ma'am, he's only had a club soda.
I like before they start.
That sounds like Jim Carrey, man.
Yo, it's hilarious.
Bro, I have to watch it now because they get to the point where they start robbing people and they get to rob them, but they try to stick up somebody and it was one of their friends that goes, Jim, is that you? He said, yeah, it was just a prank. It was a prank. No, it was just pranking. And he just pranked it. They said, but that's Jim from what? That's Pete from The Office. I can't rob him. So you got to go into the other place. Like this. They try to go in a corner store and somebody else robs it before they get there. It was ridiculous. Now I've got to go watch the movie again. You got to see it.
Understand. But Fun with Dick and Jane. But I was really talking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
Right? It's basically spy versus spy.
Yeah.
You know spy versus spy?
I mean,
are you too young for spy versus spy? Is that what's
I should have said my age.
What's the show?
Yeah, I'm 24.
24? Yeah. What's the show? Was it it's not SNL. It's
was it on
the other sketch show?
You talk about you're talking about was it it wasn't on the Keenan Ivory Wayans one.
No, what's the other sketch show? It was really big. It was almost up there with SNL.
Oh my gosh.
But it hadn't been running.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Was it gosh, I remember it's literally in my head. I forgot what it's called. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mad TV.
Mad TV, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen Mad. You got to go back and watch Mad TV.
Interesting. Yeah,
Mad TV is something else.
Yeah.
So they're like trying to find out who's, well, on Mad TV they had like an animated part, but it just had like this thing called Spy versus Spy. You look up and the spies are just running into each other, killing each other, blah, blah, blah. So they're doing this entire thing they're just stretching it out throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's like, they don't know. Yeah. They didn't know who each other were. Yeah. They were both spies. Both had guns hidden in the house. In different places where they lived. They just went to work, came back, and act like they never knew. Yeah. Nothing ever happened. They didn't know. Mm-hmm. The only thing that set him off was she dropped the knife and caught it.
Yeah, he was like,
he was like, hey, sweetie, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I believe like most of these movies nowadays are to glorify the other side of life. Yeah. And now it's not even the other side no more. It's kind of people doing this stuff is like kind of normal. Yeah. Like yelling at people in public. Like screaming from your car is absolutely normal now. What? You know what I'm saying? When back in the day, you're like, nah, I'm not gonna do all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a little too much.
Yeah, it is.
I'm a little more reserved than that. No, now it's like it's expected.
Really?
People want you to honk your horn. You're in the car. You ever had somebody want you to honk? Like, man, honk that horn, man. I'm like,
you're trying to get me killed out here. They said you can't do that in Atlanta. That's one of the things you don't do in Atlanta. Honk your horn. Honk your horn. Yeah, you get shot. Yeah. So one of the things like there's gonna be traffic. Don't honk your horn at people. You will get shot. People will shoot you. So, bro, getting back to you want to say something else, Nick? Mm-hmm. So, getting back to your whole experience as a law student, why you're not a lawyer now, and give us one of the reasons why basically you have decided not to get into law.
Yeah. So after I graduated high school, I went to FIU, right, and I double majored in international relations and political science. So after I leave FIU, I take the LSAT. I don't do too bad. I apply to law schools. I get into Barry School of Law, and I get into Ave Maria School of Law. For those of you that don't know, Ave Maria School of Law is the only conservative law school in the state of Florida. Surprisingly, most law schools are very liberal. Okay. Right. Just I have friends in other law schools. They can definitely vouch for that. So I go to Ave. I finished my 1L year, but in the meantime, I had a friend that was selling Medicare supplements. And he was like, I needed to make some money while in law school, where I'm all the way in Naples, because that's where the law school is. Just living there. All I'm doing is studying and getting fat. That's all I do. I'm doing nothing at all. Yeah. And he's like, bro, I got a workload for you. Shout out to Bruno, really good friend of mine.
Shout out to Bruno.
And he gives me that workload. I actually do pretty well, make some pretty good money. And he's like, you never thought about just doing this full time? Like, how much does an attorney really make? And I was like, fair enough. Like, these are the questions that people should be researching before going to college.
Yeah, exactly.
Really gotta know. And I had, but like when you take a more in-depth look into your profession, you start to realize that even though it says 90 to 110K for an associate attorney, sometimes it's even less. It comes with a lot of debt. and it comes with a very large workload. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for the legal profession. I have a lot of respect for my fellow classmates that graduated, became attorneys. I worked in 2 law firms, before actually going. So it's not like I had no idea what a workload looked like.
Right.
But it was enough for me to understand if I'm good at something else that'll make me more money, then I'm going to do that. Because at the end of the day, you have to come to the realization as to whether you work for money or you work for your own reputation. Because there are some people that enjoy the job they do because of the power or the reputation it gives them, but it does not pay them out that well. And there are some people that work just for the money, and they obviously can enjoy it. Like I enjoy being an insurance broker, where I went on to get my 215 license, went on to work, met Dirk at the office.
It's funny he calls it 215 because we don't in the industry we call it 215.
Yeah,
so it's weird you call it 215. 215. Okay.
Yeah, 215, 215. The license. Get the license. Get the license. Don't get no 240. Exactly. Please. Get a 215. 215. Get a 215.
215. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're good at something, do it, and don't do it for free. I think the Joker says that.
Does he?
Yeah, he's like, if you're good at something, don't do it for free. And so, because I was actually good at sales, and like Dirk is also very good at sales, we can attest to our sales skills together.
He's very good.
I just stuck with it, and at first I was just gonna take the summer off. I'm just gonna do the work, and then the summer ended up becoming fall, and then fall became winter. And winter felt like summer because I was getting paid, so I was happy.
Yeah.
And so it ends up coming down to, why would I go back? Because once you lose that financial need, why would you go back? Right? Because it's not my passion. I'm not passionate about bureaucracy. All due respect, I'm not passionate about paperwork. And there's this odd idea for people that are outside of law, that law, you're in the courtroom, you're doing all these things that you saw in The Devil's Advocate, or that you, so many people went there because of Legally Blonde and because of Suits, man. That actually pissed me off. I'm like, bro, this is a serious job.
Yeah.
Like, it has nothing to do with no series, no movie. So people would actually go, and then they come to the realization about how bureaucratic and how boring this job actually is, and how much this actually sucks. It's the truth, though.
Sucks the life out of you.
It's the truth. It does suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't come to that realization until they're already knee deep in their profession, or after they've already graduated. And this isn't even a question of law. It's a question about college or any other profession in general.
Oh man, you speaking to me,
bro.
This is you are giving me teaching 101 here, bro.
Exactly.
For so many people, bro.
Yeah.
The look on your face, I've seen it on so many new teachers.
Wow.
As you explain that, I've seen that look on so many new teachers, and I go, you're not in that deep.
Yeah.
You can get out.
You can get out now. They're like, no.
You can make a choice now.
Yes.
The money isn't that good to you right now.
Yeah.
Go. I know it looks like it's a steady thing.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't fulfill you, I see that it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I can see it on you. It doesn't fulfill you to that point.
Yeah.
You're just gonna take the check
and just be
and swallow the feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And just be like, yeah, it'll get better the next 2 weeks. It'll get better. It'll get better the next.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's my. I'm feeling that same emotion that you kind of explaining right now, and it's like, it's not just teaching. I had it in my brain like everybody doesn't understand this. It's just teachers. We're out here working for pennies on a dollar.
Yeah.
And then giving it to the kids, giving it back to the kids, putting it back in the classroom, and then getting to be customer service. Yeah. Instead of teachers. Yeah. So it's like I connected with what you were saying, man. And I don't mean to stop you, but it's just one of those moments, man. I was like, yo, this is too close to home.
Bro,
I'd forgotten you were a teacher.
Yes, sir.
And I was a teacher as well.
Yeah, that I remember. I'd forgotten you were a teacher.
Yeah. 17 years.
Yeah. I did 18 years of teaching.
Let me stop.
Now let's bring it back a bit, because I'm very young, right? I'm 24.
Very young, 24.
However, I can remember that even growing up, I had respect for my teachers.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Being a teacher was a very reputable profession.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people will say, oh, a teacher is one of the most important jobs in society, people sure don't act like it.
Ooh.
Especially when their complaints are about their own children.
This is true.
You disciplined my kid? This ain't your kid? My kid? You're calling me for a parent-teacher conference? Bro, you know how many people that have graduated with me that now have kindergartners or first graders that are the devil. Your children are the devil, right? You take care of your kids, bro. Take care of your kids. Yeah. Ain't nobody got time to take care of your own kids, especially the teacher that's got to teach other children. Yeah. Like, it's supposed to be a job that you're able to not only teach the kid the material, but also teach the kid how to act in society.
True.
Yeah. And I feel like that power's just been taken away from teachers.
Of course. It's you completely robbed, right? Like right on the spot, like, and it's I akin it to customer service. I tell people I feel like I'm a Geek Squad. Yeah. Like you brought me you brought me something to fix. Yeah. I'm like, it's not I'm not supposed to fix.
I'm not supposed to be the fix.
I'm not the fixer.
Yeah. I shouldn't even be the fixer.
I'm not the fixer. I'm not supposed to correct them in everything in
every aspect of their life. Because to be honest with you, when you think about a teacher is 360, basically the parent, the counselor, the teacher, the corrector,
brother,
the disciplinarian,
sister, cousin.
Exactly. All the stuff that they're not supposed to be, because the family, the nuclear family, is supposed to take care of all that. Because the way society is built, things that are going on with the economy, and you can go to attest to all these things. We can go deeper into that. But so with all the factors that stop families from actually being cohesive, you don't have time. People don't even have time to start taking their children and molding them in a place where they can get into society, where they respect teachers. Not even because, to be honest with you, if I feel like when I was a teacher, the actual parents, they were too young to have children at the time that they had children, and they never, whatever was instilled in them, they just rejected. So whatever mindset they have when it comes to teachers, now it's like, no, I'm going to listen to my kid first, and then I'll listen to what you have to say. Instead of like, yo, let me talk to, like in my day, they would say, I don't care what you have to say as a child. I'm talking to the adult. The adults are talking, and then we're going to talk about what you did afterward. Like, you don't get to say anything because you're a child, because you don't have the maturity level, and I'm going to speak with a person who's mature. But I think because the society has to a certain point where those children have not been raised with those type of values, they don't have the same mindset. They're like, yo, I'm with my kid. Me and my kid are almost the same age. Like, my kid is like 5 years from me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're together. It's us against you. So that's what we're seeing right now. And it's in everything.
I think it's a culture of non-correction. Yeah. Nobody wants to be adjusted. Yeah. Like you grew up. You never got adjusted. You never got nobody. There's maybe one or two people that said something to you. Yeah. Because nobody could say nothing to you because your parent, because some crazy parent decided they were going to defend you throughout all of everything that you ever did. Yeah. Whether you lied, cheated, stole, did good or did bad. Yeah. You have those parents that are just gonna fight for you no matter what. They haven't they haven't looked into it. Yeah. They don't care. Yeah. They don't, or they look into it, but they'll still lean this way. Yeah. They'll never assume that, oh, Johnny is doing this or Devontae is acting up. I'm like, he can't just be acting up, or Joshua or Andrew.
Or the bad Bible name. The bad Bible names. All the bad Bible names. You ever notice all the kids that are bad, they got all the Bible names. They'd be like Joshua, Solomon. You know what I'm saying?
It was like that a couple years ago. I'll give it
Jeremiah
like
10, the worst kids.
10, 9, 8 years ago.
Yes.
Now
Jeremiah is always the worst kid.
There's always a Jeremiah.
Oh. Jeremiah is the worst kid of all time. Prophet, but man, he'd be the worst kid.
I mean, in the Bible, they threw him down a well for a reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they threw him down a well.
Man, but the correction factor in parents now is, I believe that, I heard this earlier this week, it's like unstable parents give you unstable kids. And then you wonder why they keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, because maybe we haven't taken any time to look in the mirror to even just look at you.
Yeah, it's true.
And decide that I might be. I'm a big factor in this problem.
Yeah.
I produced this person.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm a big factor in this. Maybe my unstableness is a reason why they're acting out this way. It's not just because they're young or because this is thing that's gonna pass. No, it's something that you have to sit down and talk about them with. Yeah. Talk to them about. Like even going into certain careers, like sit down and go.
I don't know if that's for you.
I don't know if that's for you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I believe the parents should also I think like the first couple years of life is just finding something that they're good at. Mm-hmm. You put them in everything and see where they shoot off at. Mm-hmm. Then you invest. Yeah. Don't invest in something in your past dream.
Yeah. Don't live vicariously through.
Don't invest in your past dream because you want to see them do it. Are they going to do good at this? Because if you were doing good at this, you'd be doing that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If it was really in your blood like that, you'd be going.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
But you know what? I remember one thing Creflo Dollar did say about. He says like you teach children how to be a certain type of way. You're training them. Like if you don't start training them and say, listen, Johnny, you're doing this, and you don't correct that behavior, and they continue to do the same exact thing, and you let it go for a period of time, right? They're gonna continue. They're training you at a period of time because they know your response is not going to be able to respond in a way to correct them immediately. That's why, like as a teacher, like it's like almost you gotta put down every rebellion. Like people don't understand being a teacher is. Being a teacher is like being a captain of a whole army, right? Mm-hmm. And when you have the army, there's dissenters. Mm-hmm. And then you gotta have like other individuals watching other individuals. It's weird. It's kind of, I don't know anybody else who besides the teacher can relate to this, but you gotta have your own little spies and captains in there or people who are on your side because a class can turn against you. If you don't have psychologically people like in place, like helpers, we call them helpers. They like literally like, Mr. Everett don't like you to do this. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? They got to check them. So, but you got to put those people in place who are like, oh man, it's almost like somebody giving you the corner office. Like you got to like,
slightly.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's like giving the corner like, hey, you want to be my helper? Oh, okay, Mr. I'll help you. What you gonna do? Can you grade the papers for me? Yeah, okay. And you know what? I want you to tell me when people start talking in class when they're not, because then you know when you first come into class and kids don't know you don't know everybody's name, and then when you know their name, they're like, they say, hey, Julia, tell me what his name is. Because, he's trying to hide so he can be bad, right? Yeah. And you're like, Julia, his name is Jacontre. Oh, Jacontre, I got you. Why did you tell Jacontre? Why did you tell my name? Well, Mr. Taylor said, I got to find, because they let it hide for the first couple weeks and do bad stuff. Once you find out who they are, you're like, hey, Jacontre, come over. You come to the front. You're in trouble right now. But you have to put things in place or else you'll have like rebellion on your hands. So you have to have certain things going psychologically, and people don't realize you got to do all this within the classroom. And every single day you got to reinforce things. Like you're basically your own government within that space. Mm-hmm. You want to say something?
Yeah, man. I believe that you have to duplicate yourself.
Yeah, you do.
And other like, hold on, you're a good candidate for this. Yeah. You're a great candidate for this. So with that being said, Patrick, if you could duplicate yourself, what other things would Patrick 2.0 or Patrick Beta be doing?
Patrick Beta is wild. Patrick Beta is wild to say. Patrick 2.0.
Patrick 2.0.
If there was another Patrick.
If you could to culminate a goal.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? To bring a goal together, having more than one of you. What would the other Patrick or sets of Patrick be doing?
That's a good question, man. They have the same exact personality as
They can have the same exact personality, but you need another thing going while something else is going to get to where you want to go.
I mean, I think one of them would be doing my brokerage job. And then I would literally be at the beach. I would be doing all the leisure that I wish I could. But I think it would just be working in other aspects of the business. Like they would just be working in the business that we're working with together, and then the other one would just be at home. Like the OG me would be working on the business, and the other one would be at home.
Yeah.
You know, selling life insurance and final expense. But at the end of the day, if I have another one of me, I feel like I would be able to have a lot more confidence in society just knowing that I have somebody else that has my exact same goodwill in mind.
Yeah. So you need a wife, is what you're saying.
That is exactly what I was going to go to. That's exactly what I was going to go to. Because men and women, we find that in our spouse.
Yeah.
Right? My dad confides that in my mother, and vice versa. They have each other's back. I find that in my brother. Like I was discussing this with my brother. Like somebody said, "Oh, you're exactly like my brother," and my little brother was like, "Hell no." And I was like, nah. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's because you are a representation of your brother. You know, when your brother's in another room. I was like, first of all, that's heavy. That's heavy. I'm taking that with me. I'm sorry. I'm taking that with me.
Yeah.
But
that's dope, bro.
But my little brother, he's 21. He has my back. I was literally discussing with him last night. We were like talking about the lottery. Oh my God, could you have imagined if you won the lottery, like $1 billion?
Ooh.
I was like, if I won the lottery, I'm sending mom and dad to Brazil. They're going straight to the countryside, and I'm bringing you closer to me.
Wow. That's dope.
Because you need somebody to trust. True. Especially in today's society where everybody wants a piece of you, but nobody wants you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
They want a piece of you. They don't want you.
They want what you can do for them.
Exactly.
Not who you are.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Nobody cares about you, especially men. Especially men.
I got some good friends, though. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we have some good friends, but that's because we're good people.
Yeah.
Right? We have a sense of morality and a sense of values that were taught to us and that we taught ourselves as time went on. The issue is that for 99.9% of the world, they kind of hate us for that. Right? That's a biblical thing, right? The world will hate you because you follow me.
You didn't fall into the same
Yeah.
stuff that everybody else around me is falling into. You didn't give up on yourself. You went for it.
Exactly.
You said, you know what? I have a standard.
Yeah. People will hate you for having
and
a
I'm going to
standard.
stick to that.
People
A
hate
higher standard.
A higher standard. Because, you know, the thing is, it makes them feel uncomfortable. So when you have a standard for yourself and it's almost like the person who works harder. Well, you making us look bad now. Like, maybe like we're not working.
Hey, man, chill out, man. You want to hang out with us later?
Exactly. And the thing about it is that at a certain point, because I was looking at Kanye the other day, and he was like, he said, my mother instilled a belief in myself that can never be taken away. So when you guys say I can't do something, like it doesn't compute to me. Like you say, I'm crazy for thinking this way, or saying I'm going to be a billionaire, or saying I would never be able to accomplish these things if I thought the way you thought. I got to think and believe in myself. If I didn't believe in myself, I would never accomplish these things. So I gotta cut you guys out mentally. I was talking to my student today, and this kind of occurred to me, and even I talked to Tim about this, is that his father was there, and we were listening to music, right? And this is why I can't, like, Patrick is not a musician, but me and Daryl and Tim are musicians. And I was talking to Daniel this morning. I was like, yo, I don't understand why but they understood this concept, why you would not want to be a musician. He can't understand why I don't understand soccer, so I guess we're even, right? Yeah. So at the same time, we were listening, like, in music, you have, like, maybe drums, guitar, keyboards, and we were listening to Michael Jackson, right? And we were listening to September by Earth, Wind & Fire. Ooh. Like, if you listen, like, Quincy Jones is such a genius. He put so many simple parts in there. And Michael Jackson put his little thing in there. And if you listen to one instrument, you'll be like, gosh, he's doing such subtle things. Even Michael Jackson is, like, stacking his voice on top of each other. And then he'll do backgrounds, and he'll put, like, small little things. You can tell based on how it was mixed. It'll be left, it'll be right, or in stereo, and then he'll have certain instruments where, like, it'll be like a shaker, it'll be like or a clap, and it's right at certain points. But you can only appreciate that because you're listening for specific things. So we were listening for the bass. So I was talking to his son because I was teaching him, and he was listening for the first time. He was trying to play the whole thing without listening to the song. His father was like, yo, you didn't even listen to the song. This has nothing to do with music. listen to what you're trying to accomplish and just get all the distractions out. Now he got self-conscious because his father was telling him like, oh man, you're like, you should do this. And he was getting kind of down. I was like, yo, you do the exact same thing you need to do in music in life. You need to listen to the bass line and take out all the other instruments and ignore them all. Just like your father's giving you a certain amount of criticism, you can't let that start affecting your self-esteem right now. Just take that out of the way and focus on the music. And then that has to do with anything, because you could be on stage and somebody might just not like what they may give you a bad look. Now you can't play the instrument. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't focus on what you need to focus on. This can be applied to anything.
Yes,
like
sir.
you can say, okay, I'm going to decide to create a business. And this is for our level up crowd, right? You can decide I want to get a business, but someone's like, you know what? You don't look like you can start a business. Why would you give you, who would want to buy anything from you? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're the black sheep of the family. Why should anybody believe in what you're doing? You got to learn to take out the distractions and listen to the bass line. Like, yo, I'm deciding I'm going to do this based on what I'm trying to get accomplished and remove all the distractions. So, like, if you're critically listening to music, you key in on one instrument that you play and listen to that. Forget about all the other instruments. That will give you a better concentration on just in general on anything that you do across the board. And you could apply that to when you're having a conversation with somebody. Sometimes people are just taking conversations. They're just waiting to rebuttal without even listening to what the other person has to say. You know what I'm saying? So that can be applied to any option. That was my 2 cents for y'all, level up players.
Yes.
Yeah, man. You can't let those apparently 90,000 thoughts a day.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And 60 grand of them.
Yeah.
60 grand of them are all negative.
Yeah.
You can't let those run you. And the people that let those things run you, you can tell it.
Yeah.
Because anything rattles them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You'll say, oh, no.
Yeah.
And then, the subconscious is like so crazy, bro. Is that you'll accept some of the negative stuff coming your way because you know it's so much of it.
So much of it.
You're like, oh, I'll just take it.
Yeah.
Like I'm working with my coworker, and I'm like, man, I'm trying to get him to get on this thought process of you making your day what it is.
Yeah.
Like but he'll come back at me with, well, bad things happen. Bad things do happen to you during the day. I say, well, are they bad because they're bad, or are they bad because that's how you feel about it?
How you interpret it. Are you bad because remember we talked about that before. It's like how do you interpret something as negative? You know what I'm saying? Like when we talked about this before, it's like I had to go to do. I think I had to drop you off one day, right? And then he was getting something done with his car, so I made a mistake and went like an hour out of my way. I was like 2 hours to get home. I was like, God, why did this happen? You know what I'm saying? But
we talked about this
before
with Jody.
Exactly, but you don't know what is going to take place in those 2 hours that was saving you from something else. You know what I'm saying? One thing I wanted to ask you, Patrick, like he's 24. Like I wasn't thinking like you think at 24. Like he's very mature for his age. So how do you like? I was fascinated. Like how did your mindset? Like if I had to state, we were talking about another individual that we know who's another female who thinks they're mature, but they're not. They're not, right? So
Jesus.
Who do you think? And I wanted to ask him. This is my last question. Who do you think was the person who kind of formed your mindset in terms of like, okay, I want to get into law. I want to start thinking globally. I want to start thinking about politics, or start thinking. Because if you talk to Patrick about any of these topics, he usually has like something to say on it somewhere, and that's why it's always interesting that he does not want to be an attorney because he has all the proclivities that we see on TV that attorneys have. You know what I'm saying? And tell us like maybe just one story, man, like a crazy story that you had while you were in the law firm, immigration, whatever the case may be, and things that you. Yeah.
I mean, what caused me to? I do have some crazy stories, man. Especially because I used to work. The first office I worked at was medical malpractice, so I got to see. I got to see the dark side of the medical world.
Yeah.
And then the other side, I worked in an immigration and family law practice. And so I got to deal with people personally. Everyone here knows people suck. They're awful. I keep saying that, but that's because we are. We are the apex predators of the world. And when we stop preying on other animals, we prey on each other. And so because we're in society and this is our environment, this is our habitat, we literally go after each other for literally everything. So you were saying as to who made me mature and who taught me how to think this way, it was my father. Yeah, as much as my father, he didn't have any formal education. He finished middle school, never went to high school. He got a fake ID at the age of 15. He had a fake ID saying he was 18, so he could become a truck driver. He went out. The dictatorship in Brazil fell right when he got drafted into the military. So he has a very hard lifestyle.
Yeah.
My dad, he literally came from the mud. I had to go see like where he came from. You know, when I went to Brazil, mud everywhere. So he actually had to come out of it. Yeah. My grandfather was a slave. He was literally, we celebrated his birthday was the day he got registered. Right, which is he says that he was in his mid-20s, but obviously we never know his age because he grew up on a sugarcane plantation deep in Brazil, and it was the military that ended up freeing everyone that was there. And I know it's a story within another story. His name on paper is Zenilton Oliveira, right? I have no relation to the actual Oliveira family, right? The Oliveira family, the actual Oliveira family is Jewish. I'm obviously not Jewish. So
and David?
and so when my grandfather came off the plantation, they gave him letters. They didn't give him names. So because they were dehumanizing them, right? If you think you're a human being, you're never gonna do that work.
Right.
You're not gonna get beat by other people.
You're too valuable.
Yeah, exactly. So when he has the letter, the first thing that comes to his mind is like, all right, my letter is Z. I have to find something with the letter Z. Not many names with the letter Z. So he picked Zenilton, which in Portuguese is Zé is short for José. So which means Joseph. And him being so ignorant, right? No knowledge of the world at all, or even of letters, like couldn't read or write. He thinks, oh, I just want to be called Zé. And Nilton just comes in after because José Nilton is usually the full name. So he's like, oh, I want to be called Zé Nilton. And then the lady's like, are you sure you don't want to be called Joseph Nilton? No, Zé Nilton. Because of the ignorance. And so we celebrated his birthday on the day he got registered with the city because they had to bring everybody into town because these people never really existed.
Wow.
So he had to get integrated in. And then obviously 8 kids later, because you're living in the countryside in Brazil, you're broke, you're poor.
That's your entertainment,
Right? That's your entertainment. You got no TV. You got no TV. That's the truth. Wait till I talk about my mom's family.
No.
My mom's family is 19 kids. Yeah, because they lived in the countryside too. They got no TV, man.
You just got the land feeds all the kids.
Yeah, the land feeds it. And
You
the
can
kids
have
are
what you want.
And the kids are labor.
You don't have to send the kids to college.
They gonna
You don't have to worry
land,
about pensions and splitting up the land.
So what do you say? We should just get a plot of land and have mental kids.
You can have as many if the land feeds everyone.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
You should be able to have as many as you want, but we've put in college.
Correct.
Cars for everybody to drive.
Exactly.
Entitlement.
Yeah, that's true. Entitlement on top of it.
Everybody needs a piece of something. Everybody has to have a piece of that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even when you pass, like, oh, now we got to split up everything dad owns.
Yeah.
And now it's a big pain because it's 18 of y'all and now you want to split something that you didn't earn. It's just part of you.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
No, that's all good, man.
Gets in there.
My dad actually jokes about that. He's like, it was so easy when your grandfather died. Like I remember when Grandpa died. He was like, it was so easy because we were so poor. We had nothing to split. So everybody was like, yeah, it's okay. So it's okay. Yeah. After that, there's no arguments after with the family. Like who's gonna get what? Because what are you gonna get? Dust. Like there's nothing to get.
Yeah.
So obviously, with my dad's background, with that came down all upon me right after. Upon me, my older brother definitely got the worst of it. My older sister, right, is the only girl, so she got babied. And my little brother obviously got babied as well. But for me and Carlos is my older brother, we got it pretty bad. Got very disciplined. That's why I see society having more of a problem with fearing discipline as opposed to accepting it. Because my dad disciplined me so well, and I can fully say with a full heart that every BS thing I've done in my life was my fault. It's not my parents' fault, because they taught me how to do better. I should have followed my dad's example and my mother's example. And I still try to, right? Because I do fail.
Of course.
But they taught me everything I needed to know.
Wow.
So, props to my dad. My dad was is still an amazing guy.
Yeah.
He's not passed, thank God. He's an amazing man. And to see my dad, convert to Christianity when I was a little kid, because he converted to Christianity, then my mom followed. Usually it's the other way around, right? Yeah. So to see my dad do that, to see my dad change, to see him work so hard to get what he needed to provide for his family, to see my parents never argue. I'm 24 years old, man. I know they argue. I've been in a few relations. I know you're supposed to argue. But the fact that they never argued in front of me is a big plus, man.
Yeah.
The fact I never saw my dad tell my mom to shut up, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Because the way I treat women now is completely different. And I now have hope that even though I worked in family law and I've seen families get destroyed, worked in immigration, see families break apart because of paperwork, seeing people that I graduated high school with have babies out of wedlock or have already gotten married and already gotten divorced in a span of only a few years, my parents give me hope. Because I could see that they love each other. I could see that they're still together because they want to be, and that actually exists.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So that discipline that they have in the household, and genuine discipline, right? Because when you're trying to discipline somebody for no reason, it's not really discipline. You're just being authoritative. Right? Because sometimes people need to understand the difference. My father never disciplined me out of turn, just to tell me to do something just to do it.
He had purpose in what
he had purpose in what he was asking me to do.
Intentionality.
Exactly. So that my father is definitely, responsible for why I think the way I think. Right? Go out, go see the world, but do so responsibly. Right? Don't go out and see the world and try to destroy everything and try to wreck people and try to wreck yourself just to experience things. Why, if you know it's gonna hurt you, what are you trying to experience? You're just trying to fall? If you're gonna fall and hurt yourself, just fall and hurt yourself here. Because then I'm here.
Preach, Patrick.
Preach about maturity.
Preach about maturity.
Knowledge.
Preaching about maturity.
Wisdom.
No, but these are things that parents tell their kids, and then kids don't accept. And then they go out in the world, and then they screw up. And they're like, oh, maybe my parents were right.
Right. Yeah.
There's a very lucky few of us that get that, though.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's very humbling to be around people that have gotten the same experience that you have. And it also makes you very appreciative because as a teacher, I see kids that don't get good morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How are you doing?
Yeah.
How was your day? I see kids that don't get that all day. And that sucks the ever-living life out of me.
Yeah.
It's just like cause I'm the one that's
you got to put
pouring out because I've been taught to.
Yeah.
If you're having a good day, people around you should be having. People around you should be having a good day. You gotta, you're trying to do your best. You're trying to make your environment uplifting, and that's what we do right here on the D&D Leveling Up podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. That's right, y'all. Check out the interview.
Let's go.
My boy Patrick over here, man.
Oliveira.
Y'all take it easy.
Thank you.
Deuces, people.
Good job, bro. Thanks, guys.
We